Godbridgers ruined Bed Wars. Okay, just let me explain real quick. Bed Wars was one of the biggest games when Hypixel released it. It was an updated version of the CubeCraft's Egg Wars, I believe, but the game was so big that you just had players flocking in from everywhere. You had large YouTubers like Preston Plays who would do the 100 Obsidian challenge, Korean who would do different buildings. You also had YouTubers like Target 3D Gaming and Zyph who would do all of the weird trolling content. Meanwhile, you had your top competitors like Technoblade and GamerBoy80 who would just easily wipe pretty much any game they were a part of. And this was back when Bed Wars was more relevant, back before Godbridges, really. Now, I can't say I blame them. Godbridging is a really hard skill to master. I've tried my best to learn fancy bridgings, but they're just not that easy. It takes a lot of mechanical skill. However, if you see some psycho bridging towards you at Mach 10, I would also uninstall the game. Just watch any clip of the Bedless Noob and you wonder why people don't touch grass sometimes. That being said, COD bridging is just bad. I mean, how could I say such a thing? A second ago, I was saying it's such a hard skill to master, which is true, but it's also very, very useless. Bed Wars is more of a knowledge game. It's strategy. There's some mechanical skill required for PvP and bridging, but that's not what it is at its core. It's figuring out how to play or how to outplay the opponents. God bridging was useful for mind games, but once you move past that roadblock, it doesn't help you much. Simple speed bridging is almost as good. Most God bridgers would bridge really fast, but then you just simply out PvP them. It's not like they only had one skill and it was very easy to just outcompete them. But let's look at the other problem. Auto clickers. There was a big divide in the community. The Godbridgers are over here saying that they're legit. Meanwhile, us normal people are pretty confident that they're just auto-clicking. This made most people resent Godbridgers and not want to play with them. I mean, who really wants to play against a cheater? But all those bad apples ruined the reputation of the few legit Godbridgers, and this would push even more players away from Bed Wars, both the Godbridgers and the regular player base. And then finally, when the YouTube views kind of dropped off on those Godbridge videos, they would just pretty much stop and disappear. And this would just leave Bed Wars with no Godbridgers and a lack of a player base. And I feel like this was just negative on all sides. Now, I don't really mean to hate on Godbridgers all that much. It is a pretty cool skill, and showing it off has got to be fun. But it's just all of the negative energy that came with it. You had all these top players that are just saying, no, Godbridgers are not legit, and I can probably say that most of them weren't, but it was such a weird time for everybody involved. But also, like I said, Godbridgers really weren't that good. I mean, if you ever fought one of them, you could probably say that unless they were full-on cheating, they weren't that good. They just clicked very fast. I fought a lot of Godbridgers, and this was back before I am as good of a player as I am now. And a lot of them just could not PvP, and they had no game sense. They had no idea how to stop me from outplaying them, which is a really downside. It's a really big downside because you'd think that these players are carrying, and then they're not, and then you think you're going to go up against them and lose, and then it's just a big mind game. And I feel like this is one of the biggest things that led to the downfall of Bed Wars is the Godbridgers and just the fear that they brought with them. And I don't think that's really fair to the Bed Wars community. But I mean, hey, there's not much we can do about it now. You can't really go and change the past. The biggest thing is we just got to bring back players to the Bed Wars community. Obviously, we don't want the unlegit people, but if we could get all the legit players back, I feel like that would benefit everybody involved, even if that means the Godbridgers come back. Because if Godbridgers come back and everybody's legit, it would make playing solo queuing a squads game a lot more interesting and a lot more fun, in my opinion. But hey, that's all I got to say on the matter. So please subscribe, Helps out the channel a ton. I'd love to see you guys return back for some more of these videos. I've got roughly 100 more to go in this 104 days of summer. So subscribe, check out the live streams, check out the videos, and I will see you next time.